All right, good afternoon, and welcome back to Three Swords Gaming as we continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. We are on Living World Season 4, Chapter 6, which is the final chapter, War Eternal. Right, so this is all about taking the fight to Kralk, and what we've done thus far is successfully grounded Kralk, right? That after Areen was killed and then not dead, and we're all happy about that. And we ride Areen and conduct some sort of aerial battle with Kralk, and we shoot him down with Areen's face laser. Very exciting things. So here we see body of Kralk, head like tucked down in there somewhere, maybe curled up underneath him or something like that. I think it is because I think we enter the mouth like somewhere over here. We'll get to that. We'll get to it in a little bit here. That'll be during this episode. Wing, this thing right here, other wing was actually ripped asunder. That's a good word, isn't it? Asunder. And it is hanging out over here on top of this island, and then tail. And these three islands, well, four, three of them kind of fell on top of him, pinning him. That being a big chunk of the domain of Melandru, a big chunk of the domain of Grenth, which is the underworld, and a big chunk of the domain of Balthazar, which is no, I'm sorry, Balthazar's underworld, Grenth's domain of the lost, something like that. Anyway, so all these chunks of the mist, because when we engage in this battle, Kralk, it was in the mist. These pieces of the domains of the various human gods come crashing down as well, and pin Kralk down. Now, we didn't see any of this necessarily when we were battling Kralk, so kind of weird that randomly, like, various chunks of the mist come crashing down with him. But it makes for a good map, and after all, they needed to have a good map. I suppose they could have just had him land right over here at Scavenger's Causeway, but that wouldn't have been nearly as interesting as creating an entirely new area that didn't previously exist. That's where we are now. So when we pick up, like right now, Areen said, "Hey, need to talk to you. There's a thing. It's important. All right, let's find out what that's all about." And that'll be like right. Is it further up? I think it is.
What?
Yeah, here we go.
What are they?
Newborns. A new species, like wyverns and drakes. Call them sky scales. I'm taking a few to help with Kralk. Teach the rest quickly. We fly on borrowed time.
Okay. So Areen has made friends. We got like other little dragon creatures here. And there they go. To go help Areen. Now, I don't know what happens to the ones that fly away with Areen, because when we do the Skyscale collection, what we learn is that the first generation of Skyscales, unless we find some way to heal them, are also the last generation of Skyscales. So that is, all part of the process of getting the Skyscale, which, of course, we already have, because we did it in 0-0 playthrough. But I suppose... What? Silly bone soldier. Presumably that other person got that soul binder and that triggered the soldier. Okay, so I guess in theory some of this kind of happens, like the process of getting your own Skyscale happens mid-story in this chapter. That would make sense in terms of the chronology of the events. That way we preserve the livelihood of the Skyscales as we advance forward in the story. Sure. Why not, right? Realistically, I think a vast majority of people, 99%, probably completed the entirety of the story and then circled around to get their Skyscale. But I guess if you were real hard up about, like, doing things as they fit into the story, including acquisition... Well, but you couldn't. You have to finish the story to get Skyscale. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Kind of like the roller beetle, I think, would fall into kind of the same thematic space. Regardless, Keith, your thoughts?
In all the pale tree's dreams, I saw nothing like these.
The sky scales. They can get us to Kralkatorik's wing. That's why Oreen summoned us.
You're going to ride one up to collect his blood. Will they trust you?
Maybe if I feed them first. They're related to dragons, and dragons eat magic, don't they? I have to try.
Okay, another thing that is going to kind of go unexplained, and again, I'm not arguing for them to have a more robust explanation, because that would probably take too much out of the story. It would probably be a distraction. But apparently these are creatures that came along from the mists, and now they're here in Tyria, and that's all good. So the way it would go in the story, if we didn't already have Skyscale, is that we would like grab one of these. We'd actually grab this one over here. We just scoot on over here, and oh, now I triggered one of the soldiers. Shame on me. All right, so we just scoot over here, grab this guy, and then we'll go ahead.
Gently.
And then we grab some magic. What do we need to grab? 10. You need to grab 10 of the volatile magic to like feed the sky scale, so the sky scale learns to trust us. Now, because we have our own sky scale, when we play through on another playthrough after, acquiring sky scale, then we could have just hopped on our own sky scale to do this, I assume. We'll never know now because we didn't do that. Instead, we grabbed the one that the story directed us to. But I think probably...
Now you're happy, aren't you?
Probably we could have just used our own. Alright, doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Let's talk to Kaith and... Ooh, a wyvern coming for us. Kaith, I fed this guy scale.
Taimi, Gorik, I found a way up to that wing without instruments or dials, so that interference shouldn't matter.
Perfect. Get up there as fast as you can. We've got spears. We need blood. Kralkatorik's healing fast.
I'll head back to the Crystal Blue. Fly high, Commander. You were born for this.
Was I? I don't recall how. I was born a wealthy, part of a Tyrian, Crichton noble family, wasn't I? As I recall, isn't that my background? Is this what I was born to do? Fly around on sky scales? Yeah, so now we're going to hop on our own sky scale because it's just way easier to do. But your first time through the story, there is a good possibility that you're going to, grab one of the sky scales that's available to you there, and then attempt to navigate all the way over to this spot on the map down here, without taking too much damage. Like, this would be a problem for us, right? Oh, see, taking damage. So, we would want to do our best to avoid all these shenanigans so we don't lose our sky scale. Now, because we have it, we could lose it, bloop, and then just get right back on. So, lucky us. Happy times all around. So I will say that Melandru's region here, with all like the giant trees and the really impressive verticality that they help you achieve, is a pretty cool thing. And when you have the sky scales, that much more so, because you can kind of piggyback from one of these branches to another.
Commander, how exactly are you surmounting the verticality and spectrum jamming issues?
Ugh, these cannon fumes must be going to my head. I swear I just saw Irene leading a glory of dragons.
Sky scales, actually. That's how I'm...
First, intriguing. Second, a glory of dragons? Are you sure that's the proper collective noun?
Ah, just get that blood!
Is it the proper collective noun? I assume it is. I strongly suspect it is, in fact. Oh, you know what? We can just use this magic. Yeah, look at that. We're almost... Oh! Scary. But yeah, this verticality is super cool.
Anyone? All right. Find the source of this interference. Find the blood. Charge the spear. I can do this.
Why is the commander giving herself a pep talk? Like, she's a commander. I feel like that's like horribly unnecessary. So yeah, to be this high above everything up here on the wing. Now we got the map unlocked here. You can see this is the remaining wing way over here. um, just kind of hanging out. They did do. I think they did a pretty cool job of this, like this big purpley sort of, you know, severed wing thing here. And I guess this is the part of the wing that we actually shot off. I think we're meant to kind of perceive this as like congealed crystal dragon blood. Now there's a sky scale right here because you have to use the sky scale's attack skill to blow that open. It doesn't let you do it any other way.
Yes, I've tried that too. But if it's organic, our systems won't be able to.
Gorik? Gorik? Can you hear me? I found your...
You! You're back! Timmy was getting worried.
I knew the commander would be okay.
And the interference is gone. Was it organic? I bet it was organic.
Is a crystal scab organic? Don't answer that. Now, how to reach this blood? It's falling into thin air.
What about your sky scale? Tiny's thesis says dragons and related species can hover, like dragonflies.
You read my thesis?
Well, it is the most authoritative work on the nature and physiology of dragons. Try hovering, Commander.
Alright, we'll try hovering. I do kind of like that exchange between Gorik and Timey. You know, I trash ArenaNet a lot because...
That's plenty. You can send up the choppers for more blood, Timey. I've destroyed the...
I don't think they...
Now, how exactly do we fuse the blood and the spears? We don't have the forge.
Gorik, any progress on an alternative?
We'll plate them. Specific resonance at close range should flex the crystalline structure sufficiently to permit fusion. In short, we can use the Zephyrite. I've sent Zephyra and 2 Zephyrite ahead with a spear, marking their position. You'll have to run some tests, of course.
Right. Need to make sure it works before sending others into the fray.
Okay. Yes. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I do. I'm pretty hard on ArenaNet for their very mediocre story writing. I will say that the development of the relationship between Timey and Gorik, I think, is done relatively well. Like I don't think it's all that bad at all. I know some folks are not fans, and particularly, you know, when we get much later in the story and we get to like the Gaia Delves piece, I know a lot of folks feel like that was, you know, not something that they particularly got into or whatever. That's fine. I get it. It's not for everyone, but I don't think it was necessarily done badly. You know, if you don't like it, if it's not your flavor, I think that's different from like, you know, writing like a simpleton. And the fact that they gradually build on Gorik and Timey's relationship, I think it's more good than not, if that makes sense. Zephyra.
Commander. I see you have the blood. Here is the spear.
Coat it with Kralkator's blood. A brief resonance should fuse the two together.
Should. Let's hope Gorik's right.
Ready to sing, sister?
Man, such a drama queen. What's going on over here? All right, let's do it.
A true dragon's blood spear.
May it fare better than the last. Now, Commander, show us a god of war.
All right, and this is another one of the Dragon's Blood weapons. The ones I discussed with the last chapter where I was talking about how I thought it was like a really good weapon set. No change, by the way, to my opinion. It's the same today as it was yesterday. I do think it's a good weapon set. This is another one of the weapons. I don't know if this is... I don't remember if there's a spear available or not, or if this is like the staff skin or something. I don't recall. I also don't recall if this is the initial variant or the second variant. Because, you know, there is a second variant. I think they're Ascend weapons. I'm like 99% certain they are. And they have some properties that, like, the first variant does not. They're a little more glowy. Not sure if this is one of those or not. You would think so, though, right? If it's the true Dragon's Blood Spear. Good, there's nothing else going on here. So sometimes there's an event. This thing is part of an event. And when that event's taking place, and you come here to kill, or to spear 10 branded with the true Dragon's Blood Spear, it gets a little frustrating because the event complicates that process. But with no event taking place here, we can just spear a bunch of branded. We are going to have to wait. See that? Like, now all 4 of them are gone. So now we got to kind of chill. Unless we really want to go to one of the other circles. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's some more. I guess we could. We could go to the one in the north. That shouldn't be too much of a trip, right? In theory. And then by that time, we should be able to come back here and get... Yeah, look. Are they just right here? No, that's a different event. Oh, man. We're not going to be able to fly that high. Can we use the wall thing, or is it just too high for that even? It's going to be real close. Ah, we did it. Go team. Go team, Commander.
Thank goodness you're here, Commander. We need to
Oh,
secure that
there is an
testing
event
site
happening
for a
here.
new batch of lay reflectors. No tests, no reflectors. No reflectors, no brainstorm disruptors. I'll begin once you're done.
And really not interested in Spectral Stalker. Really not. Oh, see how it really didn't do all that much damage to the Stalker? That's interesting. It's also going to be interesting how it died. What are we at? 7 out of 10? Yeah, if we can get back down to the other spot, we'll be good to go. The other thing that can be a little bit frustrating, a vast majority of the time, Guild Wars 2 does a really good job at not making players compete for individual things that exist on the map. This is one of those exceptions, though. If there was someone else who was like trying to achieve the same thing, we would be competing with them for these branded here.
Working beautifully. Time for the real test.
Kralk. Try nearest claw, champion. There's cover from the brandstorm.
It's really very rare, though, that the game asks you to do that. Asks you to compete with another player for a thing. They're usually so good, and the way that they usually manage that is because Guild Wars 2 has like a shared loot system where 2 people can kill the same enemy and both get loot from it. Then they'll just provide a thing, a drop from an enemy, and you just need to collect a number of drops. And say, is this person AFK farming the bridge? I loathe AFK farming, but I get why this is happening. They might just be waiting for it to spawn too, because it's not a logical space. Yeah, see, they're talking. It's not a logical space for AFK farming, so I'd be very reluctant to just accuse them of AFK farming for profit. Probably, you could AFK farm the bridge defense events though by just like what this Necro's doing, just staying there, and your minions are going to give you participation in defending the bridge, and you don't even need to worry about the event failing, because it's almost certainly not going to. Because these days, like the one thing that there are 2 things that people still do all the time on this map. One of them is the meta event. People still do it all the time, and we're kind of counting on that today, because when we finish this story, we are going to do the meta event, or definitely planning on it at least. And the second thing that people still do is the bridges, because It just requires a lot more effort to get the gloves, as we discussed last episode.
The chopper's
Then,
plenty of blood from the wing.
Yep.
Enough to arm our best fighters.
That's good.
Zephyrites have been
Happy to
skinning
hear.
as fast as they can.
It'll be a while before we have enough, but we're already distributing the ones we've finished.
Elder Dragon, I believe this belongs to you. For Ilona, for Tyria, for Blish.
Calm down, Commander. Jeez.
I hope it hurts as much as... I hope it hurts.
Oh, it hurt.
Yeah, doing this story playthrough has definitely brought me to the realization that if they replace the human female commander's voice actor, I will not even be a tiny bit hurt about that.
But somehow, Kralk is still healing.
What?
I know. We're redirecting ley lines, but it's not working. It's like there's an artery of ley energy right underneath him.
My seismic data supports Tiny's hypothesis. He's tangled in some kind of cave network.
We have to get in there and block that ley line.
I'll go.
Good. Kaith, you come too.
Commander, do you need your pack marshal?
Glint's army needs you. Stick with them. Commander, I'm coming.
It's settled. Let's go.
Alright, where is that cave? Oh, it's way over there. And we'll have to go around to... Oh, man. You know, it's almost worth waypoint for. I think it is. Oh, I don't have that waypoint. Never bothered to get it, apparently. Well, shame on me. Alright, I guess we'll fly over there in our skyscale.
Aureen, we're going under Kralk to block a ley line.
I'll be there. Almora's army is about to attack. They'll keep him occupied while we go below and finish this.
Alright, so that dialogue right there from Aureen is why we are going to do the meta when we're done with this. And it also shows something very similar to what we saw in Dragon Stand, right? Which is that the dragon is fought at two levels. One, kind of an individual level by the commander, you know, targeting some specific aspect of the dragon. You know, with Mordremoth, was his mind. We'll see how this plays out with Kralk here in a minute. While at the other level, you have like the Pact, right? Or as Aureen calls them here, Almora's army, engaged in the other part of this.
All
So,
four armies are swarming Kralk on Almora's command.
A lot of lives have already been lost. It's up to us to make it count.
Commander, the ley line that's feeding Kralk is due south from you.
So, through that wall of solid rock.
This way.
there goes Aureen
That
showing
works.
off. So last time I said that I thought an instance was decent.
What is...
It glitched and it was frustrating. So I'm not gonna say it
You'd imagine.
yet.
They're pummeling him from above. He's in distress.
Right. So in theory, the meta event's happening right now, based on what Zephyr is saying.
Still got some fight in him, though.
much farther.
The heartbeat's a really cool touch. Like it a lot. Super cool.
The ley line.
And another. And another.
We have our work cut out for us.
So there you go. We got like 3 different ley lines feeding. That's actually Kralk's face right there. So where are we on the map?
So close.
He's
Ah, well, okay. They gave us a little area to play in.
Let that happen.
I was just kind of curious,
All
like,
yours. Work quickly.
where his face was in relation to his body, but we'll never know now. All right, so Reen is going to brand over these ley lines, seal them up, so that Kralk can no longer enjoy the benefits, the healing benefits provided by these ley lines. However, we're going to protect Irene while she does that. So we got to kill all the branded. Fortunately, these spears are like never ending. So as they come off cooldown, just throw another spear. Easy peasy. Come on, Irene.
There. The first one sealed.
Nicely done.
up and knock him down.
On to the next.
Oh, good. I was afraid Ritlock wasn't going to have some like Arnold Schwarzenegger type catchphrase for this moment. But he did. Good job, Ritlock.
One ley line left. Commander, the branded are retreating to your location.
Keep all forces up there focused on the dragon.
You got it.
Okay, so what happens at the end of the meta event is not the death of Kralk. Not at the end of the meta event, at least. We will get that here in a minute, but at the end of the meta event, what he does is he like encases himself in crystal to facilitate his healing. So when we hear Timey say, "Hey, all the branded are on their way to your location," what that might represent to us is that the meta event has now finished above us, which made it a real fast meta. Good on him. Good job, guys.
That did it.
Timey, he's vulnerable. Tell Almora to move all armies in for the kill.
Go, go, go!
What are we waiting on here?
Is it done? Is it over?
At long last.
Okay, where's the boom? You kill a dragon, there's supposed to be a... No. No. No, 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 no!
Timey, what's happening?
Commander, his body, it's dead. But there's a source of power still inside him. Doing more damage out here doesn't affect it.
We can't kill him. Not from outside.
So maybe this is the end of the meta event. I don't know.
You're saying
They're not 100%
we
clear.
need to go in.
There's no other way.
What? Through his mouth?
Just Aurene and me. If she dies in there, Joko's magic can resurrect her. The rest of you, not so much.
But that goes for you too.
We've known all along that the Scion and Champion must face Kralkatorrik together.
Defend these ley lines. If he starts healing again, it's over.
The branded will not get past us.
Ritlock. Listen, Dragon's Watch...
Shut up. You're coming back.
Aurene,
Why do we look all sad?
I love you.
I love you too.
Ah, touching.
Champion, it's time.
Oh, we get to ride Aurene again. How exciting. This is pretty cool, though. Gotta admit, pretty cool. Visually quite impressive as well.
It's so beautiful and quiet.
If we succeed, what happens to you?
I'm not sure exactly. I can feel all the magics in it. They're not in harmony.
Okay, that's actually a more important phrase than maybe we realize at this point.
Of my child. Come to me.
Aurene, what's happening?
I can feel his pain. A million agonies. So much suffering.
My heart is yours.
Is this some kind of trick?
No. I think he wants us here.
You sure about that?
Okay, so we're going to lift the chat up here real quick where we can see it. It's important to note that we have the voice of Kralkatorrik and then Kralkatorrik's torment as two different things. So whereas Kralkatorrik says, "My heart is yours," you know, "Child of my child," etc., etc., that roar and the opposition, so to speak, is coming from Kralkatorrik's torment. So they're kind of doing an interesting thing here, which won't really come to fruition in terms of how we envision Kralkatorrik until after End of Dragons. In fact, maybe we'll move this up here for the instance.
He's fractured, warring with the other magics. I got you.
Interestingly, during this phase, they don't really, unless you get yourself knocked down like that, they don't really set you up to take like a whole boatload of damage. I'm managing to take some here, but really that's not kind of what they were trying to achieve. I think they really want the player.
Follow me, champion. I'll protect you.
They really want the player to advance to other phases.
Are more than I. Death does not stop you. The magics do not torment you. They belong.
What was that? Oh, why do these instances just have like random things that kill you? Like, the heck, man? Oh goodness.
Claim what is yours.
Alright, so essentially now Irene has sealed off
Deal the final blow.
one of the torments, and then we will, or one of the aspects that is tormenting Kralk, and then we will destroy it. So if Balthazar was one of them, then we know there are others, right? Because, you know, as we recall, Balthazar's magic was not the only magic that was tormenting Kralk, right? He also had Mordramoth and Zaitan's magic within him, so something to keep in mind as we move forward.
Feel the fury. You sick?
Time to do some real damage.
Follow me, champion. I'll protect you.
Alright, Irene, but actually do it this time, because
Torment
last time I followed you and just randomly got downed.
blinding. It lies. Its pollution steals my sense. It promises destroy everything, and the pain will cease.
I understand, grandfather. We'll end it for you.
So without jumping ahead to like some of the story stuff that we will get with End of Dragons, what is being suggested here is that that Kralk true nature is not necessarily hostile, you know, like inherently hostile, right? I did a bad job there. But that rather, you know, he has like the ability for reason, the ability to consider the consequences of his actions, so on and so forth, right? It is interesting because not all the Elder Dragons are painted that way. At no point in time is Primordius ever painted that way. We haven't even encountered Primordius yet. We're a ways away from that still. Zaitan was never painted that way in any way, shape, or form. Um, Certainly, Mordremoth was painted as intelligent enough and sentient enough to engage with us and actually prove to be a serious adversary in that sense. But the idea that that Mordremoth did not want to be what he was isn't really something that we saw.
On my
All right.
champion. The end is near. Follow me, champion. I'll protect you.
Your first words. I heard them,
I'm not you.
but you are of me. And soon I will be of you.
Because that's a really interesting thing for Kralk to say.
Assume that my vision,
She thought it terrified you.
nothing terrifies an elder dragon. Not even death. This you have already learned.
I no longer fear death. Feel the fury.
Yeah, sorry. Got distracted by the combat. But you are of me, and soon I will be of you. So when I first played through this, that phrase was part uh, of a kind of a collection of things that are said that led me to some very inaccurate conclusions about what was going on with the Elder Dragons. Um, they were very reasonable conclusions at the time. Simply wrong.
They are her strength. She is the first of her kind.
That's the second one. She is the first of her kind.
You have made me bear. The pain is ebbing.
I'm sorry. It has to be this way, Grandfather.
Child of my child, I only hope that you never have to kill what you love. Now, mortal, return my blood to my heart.
Aureen,
Do it.
So apparently Kralk knows what our spears are all about. Okay, so Kralk there says
My
mother.
grandfather's prophecy is fulfilled. My mother's legacy is complete. I can't explain what's about to happen, Champion. But I want to share it with you. All of you.
Animators did a good job with this, honestly. I think it's pretty well done. With the facial expressions, with Saphira and with Timey and stuff. Um, pretty pretty slick. Look at that. That's a good job, especially when you're dealing with sort of a only pseudo human face to give it facial expressions like that. I like it. Why is the commander looking at her hand? It's kind of weird. All right, so we kind of witnessed like the metamorphosis, a change in Irene, right? That is an important part of the story, so I don't just want to poo-poo it as like they made a rainbow thing. Um, we'll learn more of that as we progress through the story. Let's see, I think we're about to get some dialogue, so I'll save my horribly incorrect theory that I initially hatched on what was going on here till we're done here. I'm gonna go ahead and move this chat back down though to where I would like it to be. Oh, is Commander just gonna sit here till we get her up? Okay. Well, in that case, so you have Kralk kind of mentioned several phrases there to Irene. You are of me, and soon I will be of you. What was the other one? And then he says mother at the end. There are a couple other things that he says that all led me to believe. I can't find them in the chat now. That mistakenly, the first time I played this, I thought, okay, what we're seeing here is that the Elder Dragons are of Irene, and then Irene, and at some point supplanted her and like destroyed her, and then she is reborn and destroys them and supplants them, and it's a cycle, right? It's like a time-defying cycle between like this mother of the dragons and then the various dragons. That is not the case. Okay, I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that crackpot theory of mine that I had at the time, this was fresh content, was incorrect. I do think there was definitely like reason for me to believe it when you look at some of the dialogue and stuff that takes place there, and it would have been consistent with some of her Arena's storytelling, but that's not what came to be. So we have defeated Kralk. I'm sure our friends have all kinds of things to say.
We'll reach Lion's Arch by sundown.
Thanks.
That was really something.
Go on out. They're waiting for you.
Okie dokie.
So, we saved the world. Again.
What will it all look like now that Kralkatorik's gone?
Less purple, I guess. Fewer crystals. Pretty.
But the balance of magic.
That's a problem for another day.
Interesting. Remember when the balance of magic was like more important even than defeating the dragons? I guess we don't care about it that much anymore. Our mission is sail into the sunset. That's fun though, and literally sunset and stuff, so.
You flew down a dragon's throat and punched his heart until it died.
Graham.
Next time you do that, you bring me!
Next time. I promise.
Since we're drinking, how about a toast, Commander?
After everything that's happened, I don't know what to say.
Oh, I do. To Aurene.
To Aurene, the hero of Elona.
She's all grown up.
And up and up and up.
Not easy, is it? Watching your little one go.
We'll see her again, Keith. I'm sure of it.
All right, so we'll talk to some folks. We see Zafira's got a thing over her head, but I think actually as they get settled into their places, they pretty much all are going to have some dialogue that they want to share with us, important things, whatever. Also, we got a letter. What's our letter? Oh, that letter is for the next chapter.
I just got an invitation.
Oh, and she's going to start it, you stupid commander.
Vanguard. Mine was a summons. Real official. Been ages since the last gathering of the legions. And that one, pretty bold, even by his standards. But I don't have much of a choice. When your imperator says jump,
You ask how high.
right. If this one's as rough as the last, they could use a hand keeping a lid on things.
Well, I'm in.
Great. Meet you at the Black Citadel. We'll catch our ride there.
Gross. Stupid game. Okay. So there you go. Now we know how Icebrood Saga is going to start. We'll get to that soon. We got a meta event to do first, and also we got some people to talk to. Let's talk to all these folks who all have their own feelings. Oh, look, we got the grog guy with us. Hey, Medi. This is the one guy I want to talk to, the one guy we can't talk to, the barkeep. Let's talk to everyone, get their feelings about Kralk death, because this is like the end of a massive chapter within the Guild Wars 2 story. So it should be significant. We should get feedback.
In all my years of sailing and plundering, I've never seen anything like this. You do keep life exciting, Commander. And profitable.
Glad you're getting something out of this. You've been a great help.
Yeah, do me a favor. We'll keep that to yourself. The Corsair's got a reputation to protect.
All right, Saida, all about the hustle. Who we got next here? Timmy? Is Timmy getting a drink? Are you old enough to drink yet, Timmy?
This is huge. I have to revise my entire thesis. No, it'll be a monograph. No, wait. It'll be a 6-volume treatise. Yeah. The Elder Dragons Reconsidered. My magnum opus. I mean, how many researchers get this kind of opportunity, huh?
We'll have to rethink a lot of our assumptions. About dragons. About everything. I understand Gorik's doing the field work.
No, you'll have fun. The sky scales alone are worth like a dozen papers. Ugh, they are so much cooler than bugs anyway. Oh, wait. Think Aurene still has time for me? I have got to get an interview with her. It'll be the first chapter.
When you see her again, ask.
All right. I think Timmy is drinking. She said opportunity. And she's got a glass in her hand, and she's over here with Medi, who serves very strong grog. Am I contributing to like some sort of like the destruction of a child prodigy? Maybe that's what's happening. Kaith, kind of doing her own thing over here, being like this silent, stupid type. Kaith, what's your thoughts?
Sure, though, are you? That Aurene is coming back?
She's an elder dragon now. All bets are off.
So I guess that's what we saw then. Oh,
There.
go ahead, Kaith.
As if she saw someone she loved in great pain. Was Kralk?
No dragon is meant to contain that much power. Balthazar, Zaitan, Mordramoth. Their magics were tearing him apart.
I remember, like a bad dream, when Mordramoth... No matter. I can still feel her love. Even from here. Even now. Time for me to go home, Commander. Back to the Grove, where it all began. I have a great deal of thinking to do.
Hey, do me a favor, Case. Stay there. Zafira.
What's next for you? Now that...
It's simple. I serve. Wherever Aurene wants me to go, I go. I'll wait with the Zaishan until she calls. The Crystal Bloom will carry the good news without me. Thank you for opening my eyes, Commander. For restoring my faith. For helping me to see.
So I guess... what does that mean for the Zaishan Order? Are we getting the suggestion that like the Zaishan are now dedicated to Aurene or something? That's a little unclear to me. I'm not sure what's going on there. But hey, good for Zafira to have her like her
I'm just
thing.
glad I can make it all up to you.
Eventually. And with a lot of help.
Thanks for giving me the chance, Commander.
Yeah. Thanks for giving this bozo the... Kidding. We're blood brothers now. Though that would make Gwen my...
What will you do now, brother?
Never thought about it. Never made plans for if the world didn't end.
Me neither. Guess we'll have to find out.
So Ridlock's reaction there to the idea of Gwen being like his grandmother or whatever, the reason it's like such a visceral reaction is Gwen was actually, you know, she hunted Shar during the war between the humans and Shar, and was actually, if I remember correctly, known as like the Goremonger or something like that. Like she was, she's remembered in infamy by the Shar, so that's kind of what was going on there. And it's good to see that these two are, have made up and presumably are going to make out now or whatever. It's all very touching. Zaim.
Lona has suffered turmoil for too long. First Joko, then the Crystal Dragon. Our political system is in shambles. We need statesmen, guardians of the peace, those who live out the Sun Spear's 8 virtues. I'll find those people and raise them up. It's time for Alona to take her place in the world.
Yeah, Zaim. You find those people.
Why is the commander talking down to Zaim? That seems like a good plan, Zaim. I'm on board. Nation building is an interesting thing. And by the way, like I would love to get... So, do we not have like... There we go. There's a lot of map like over here. There's map like up here, Zalana. We got a named region over here. We got a named region over here. We got more stuff here in like the Elon River. There is so much space they could play with here to expand upon this culture. I did not love Pathfire as like an expansion. It was probably my least favorite of the 3 major expansions that they've launched thus far. And I didn't really like Path of Fire as much as I liked maybe like Season 2 or Iceroot Saga. Or, I mean, Season 4, yeah, as much as I like those two. Like there are a lot of interesting things they could do with like the culture down here, and of course they've developed like all these different all the assets, and like they've made this part of the world. They should use more of it. Like they should go bananas and incorporate more of that. Maybe we could see Zaim again. I would like that. If they're gonna do, if there's one thing good possibly about this mini expansion thing they got coming up, it's that they really don't have to be slaves to like, oh, we're gonna do a thing, and it's gonna take place in this huge portion of the world. Like we can just go like right here, and then for no reason at all, completely change and go right there, and then we can go right. Well, that's actually where we're headed next. We can go like right over here. Like we can bounce around like that with these mini expansions, and hopefully we do. I would like to see them expand the world in really fun ways. Now that, in theory, maybe they're done with like expanding the world in sweeping ways, right? Bram, you're the last person I need to talk to.
One hell of a day, Commander. Been one hell of a life.
You must be proud of how Rox fought today.
Yeah, I am. Tammy's gonna be okay, right, Commander? There's no way she's gonna... I mean, she can't.
Pretty much needs to,
No
Bram.
one knows the future, Bram. For today, just today, let's not worry about tomorrow.
Besides, she's over here drinking, which probably is like not good for her health, Bram. So presumably, Tammy's dead meat. All right. So let's. Yeah, I think you should, Bram. All right. Let's. Oh, that's not good. Ooh, look at that. That's cool. There's a cool backdrop for wrapping up the video. All right. So let's do it. Let's wrap up the video. So we defeated Kralk, right? Easy. There we go. Done. Uh, that's awesome. However, we still got what? Let's see. Zaitan's defeated. Mortimer's defeated. Kralk defeated. That still leaves 2 known Elder Dragons, Primordus and Jormag, plus an unknown Elder Dragon out there somewhere as well, right? The Water Dragon. So we're really only halfway there if like the whole thing is going to be defeating the dragons. So there's still, at this point in the Guild Wars 2 story, there's still a lot available to us in terms of storytelling. Now, when we come back, so as I insert this video break here, what we're going to do next, charge forward with, is we're going to play through the Dragonfall meta event to see what was going on with the Pact while we were down there poking Zaitan, or not Zaitan, Kralk in the heart with a spear. Let's see what the Pact was up to. So, yeah, when we come back, Dragonfall meta, hopefully. Hopefully there's a commander tag and people are doing events, and hopefully it's not too terribly painful. Worst case scenario, I do it another time, and we move ahead with Icebrute Saga. So, we'll see. Yep, pick it up there next. Thank you.